him and he said, peace be still. He was faithful. Do you know Cyril G. Francis, who met in 2 accidents right there and nothing happened? Do you remember? God is faithful. Do you remember when God said, ambush lies the evil one, and we bless up Pastor Francis' vehicle, and the next day fire caught in the vehicle, nothing happened. Do you know Oceanati, who should be in prison, but today she's here with us? Isn't God a faithful God? I have known Sister Trisha Webster, who said so many times that I should be eating out of the garbage bin. But I heard the voice of Jesus say, Lucifer, you throw God out. This young lady will have to help me bring souls for the kingdom of God. Isn't God faithful? This is telling me that God is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. God would have done it for Daniel and the disciples. God would have done it in this season for Cyril G. Francis, Stacy-Ann, Gayle, for everyone inside here. God would have been faithful. If I ask you to reminisce, to look where God would have brought you from, to today, God has been faithful. Can we just give the Lord a praise for his faithfulness? Today I choose the chapter Deuteronomy 7 from verse 1 through to 9. Because these group of people would have experienced God's faithfulness. These are persons who would have been through the wilderness 40 years. They were slaves back in Egypt. They were hungry. The Lord feed them with manna and quail. They experienced plague. So these are persons who would have experienced God. They have been through the Red Sea. I am of the notion that after this songwriter read the book of Deuteronomy from Exodus coming up and would have understood what the Israelites would have gone through, he said, I have been through enough to know that he'll be enough for me. I have been so many times I have felt as if I'm going to be giving up, just like the Israelites. But sometimes when you sit and look back at the faithfulness of Jesus, it kind of gives you a push. Or so, brothers and sisters, I do not know if you would have encountered any similar situation like the Israelites. I have encountered heartbreaks, and it seems like I was in it for 40 years. I've experienced hunger, but the Lord supply all my needs. I may not encounter plagues, but I would have encountered enemies who rise up against me. But the Lord promised me that in the presence of my enemy, he's going to prepare a table. They're not going to watch me to eat. God is not going to kill my enemy. So it don't matter what you have been going through, God is still faithful. I may not encounter Pharaoh and his soldier, but I have fought with families. I have fought with friends. I have fought with my extended family, nuclear family. So I may not encounter Pharaoh, but I have been through the wilderness. And through it all, I've learned to trust in Jesus. Through it all, I've learned to depend upon his name. Brethren, you just see me look nice and dandy, but you don't know what I've been through. I have been through enough to know that he'll be enough. I have been through enough. God has been faithful. I don't know if you experienced that faithfulness. The Israelites would have made it over, and now it's time for them to possess the land. So when we would have crossed over sometime in January, coming over in February as a church, and it was miraculously done. But now it's time for us to possess the land. in Deuteronomy, Moses gathered these Israelites and like a little farewell speech to say, listen now, it's time for us to possess the land. So, in possessing the land, there are certain things that we really can't do when we get over on that side. We must remember that God is too faithful to fail. But there are certain things that we need to do to accept or to receive His faithfulness. We would have crossed over and I said that we need to check our circle. When Moses gathered the Israelites, he said to them, we need to kill out the Canaanites. We cannot possess the land with Canaanites in it. When you go over there, nobody marry nobody, man. Don't give your daughter nobody, your son nobody. Because guess what? If you take them onto yourself, they're going to prevent you from worshiping God. We are here now and we cross over. We need to possess them. We have to kill out the Canaanites. So Bishop, when them gone, nobody worry. God have to move out the Canaanites so that we can worship Him in spirit and in truth. We need to check our circle. When I was doing my little reading up and search, we need to check our circle. We need to pass the land, but we must kill out. Possess the land, but we must kill out the Canaanites. They must dead. So I said I didn't have to preach because Bishop On said, I have it in my notes, cut off your phone. When people are calling, you better answer them. Because sometimes these are persons who allow you to gossip. We cannot be crossing over, leading out, and we are fornicating because 2 Corinthians tell us that we cannot be unequally yoked. If we're going to possess the land, let us cross over. A lot of persons was promised the land, but they need to possess the land. So you can't cross over, you must get the land. But if you want to possess the land, kill out the Canaanites. We need to do an inventory of our circle. Because some Canaanites need to go. We have to kill them out. When we get into verse 6 of Deuteronomy. Give me a minute, please. Let me just find that.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
In verse 6 it says, for thou art an holy people unto the Lord. Thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto Him, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Why do you think you're here this morning?
My God.
The Lord would have chosen you for a time like this. So God said, Moses said to them, listen to me, man, you are not here because by chance you are a special people. So when we get down to verse 7, the Lord did not set His love upon you nor choose you because you are more in number than any people, for ye were the fewest of all. God would have chosen the Israelites not because they were large, but they were small. But although they were small, God is with them. So Bishop, let me tell you, numbers don't count. God is with us. So numbers don't count. So if you come and it's only 2 of us, we're going to worship. God could have chosen another nation, but He chose the Israelites. And He says not because of size why I choose you were small. So numbers don't really count with God. Once God is here, we are right. So you don't worry about the numbers. Alright? So God said, don't worry about the numbers. I didn't choose you because you're big. I choose you, you're small, man. But not because you're small, there is something about you. God did not choose you because you are brighter, richer, cuter, drive an expensive vehicle, the bank account big. God not choose you because of that. Some of we broke. We don't have no money, but God still chose us. Because Him love we. If you never create Him, still love you.
That's right.
Do you know what love is? When He said that He loved you, do you know what that is? He was beaten and lashed. They placed a crown of thorn upon His head. He was nailed to the cross and they pierced His side. I just imagine what He would have been through for us.
Yes.
Because He loved us. And I think when they were writing the Bible and they were inspired, when they get to Isaiah 53, he said, I was bruised for my iniquity, and chastisement of His peace was upon me. When he gets over in the New Testament and they were inspired again by the Holy Spirit, they said, St. John 3 verse 16, for God so loved the world, He gave His one Son. Jesus loves us. So it's not any coincidence why we are here this morning or this afternoon. It's because of His love towards us. When we get to verse 8, the Lord loves you even if you do the things that He would have delivered you from. So let me get to verse 8. But because the Lord loves you, and because He would keep the oath which He had sworn into your father, had the Lord brought you out with a mighty hand and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen from the hand of Pharaoh in Egypt. The Lord is not going to be taking you out from the Egyptian and from amongst Pharaoh and just leave you like this. He's going to carry you. So I do not know what we are. You know your own situation, your own wilderness situation. But can I tell you that God is still faithful? He is still faithful. It really doesn't matter what you are going through, because I have not been in the wilderness for 40 years. But sometimes I'm going through some situation and it seems as if it's 40 years. But God is still faithful. Alright? So God will not take you here and He's going to leave you in limbo. He will take you out, and He promised that He's going to bring you out. Amen. I have been through enough. And I can join the songwriter to say that
God is too faithful.
oh God. God, you have been too faithful.
To fail me.
Can I tell you, brethren, that I have been through a lot.
Testify.
I have been through a lot. But God is really faithful. And during the course of this week, I was just going through my life. Sometimes you measure yourself against society scale and set a particular age you should be doing certain things, or you want to acquire certain things, and like it don't happen and you figure like you fail yourself. So this week going to work, I was kind of measuring my life, or my achievement rather, against a scale that society would have implemented, and I start complaining, and then the song hits me. That you're too faithful to fail. I have been through emotional depression, but God has been faithful. I have been through fight, I said that, with my own mother, my brother, but God has been faithful to me. Sometimes you've been through situations not expecting certain persons to be the one who is going to allow you to say certain things about you. So when it really happened, it really cut your bad man. But through it all, God has been faithful. God would have brought me through my tin mackerel and rice era. So if you eat oxtail and lobster, I got faithfulness. I know what it is to eat tin mackerel and rice and drink some syrup and go to my bed. So if I eat lobster, I got faithfulness when I eat it. I'm full time now. I've been through enough. been through enough.
Yeah.
It's just time. There are certain things that we need to achieve, and can I tell you that when we look in ourselves and we ask God and we say, God, we need this, and we say other person's getting it, we're not getting it, we need to just check our little circle, because sometimes we have some Canaanites in the camp. Yes. Our colleagues at work, our friends we talk to on the phone, even your husband can be a Canaanite because they don't want to see your worship. Because we're not on one accord. But can I tell you, brethren, we need to get rid of the Canaanites so that we can fully experience the faithfulness of God. If we really need to possess the land, we need to get rid of the Canaanites. It is time to possess the land. And if you have gone through your wilderness situations, we just have to kill out what we need to kill out. Drop friends. I have done that. I have done that. As I said last time when I gave my testimony, I am not a bright girl. I don't bright. But because of God's faithfulness, He let me read on so that I can pass the exam in any course I do, because He's faithful to me. I would have been through work at different locations based on my job. I have outgrown a location, so I would have acted in every capacity on the organizational structure. So I said to Brickley and Brishon, I just need to move on from there, so because I have outgrown this space. Brickley got accepted and to go to NCU, and I said, God, this pay we are getting now, it can't cut it. So I need a promotion. And it don't take me a month for somebody who I have worked with, who would have loved my work ethics, call me and say, Mrs. Gayle, I need you down here. And I said, and I'm going. I said, yes, I am coming. And I said, thank you, God. That's the faithfulness of God. While I was in the new position, I was supervising 4 different locations, the assessment unit. So I move up and down. So sometimes I'm in Old Harbor, sometimes I'm downtown, so I'm all over. Whilst being there, I just work along with people. And while I'm there, the position, the organizational structure would have changed, and a new position came up. And I was recommended for the position. And I move up into another position. While I was at the location, me just come. And the persons who are there, they said to me, don't think that who is there can work in the position. I say, I never tell you that. When I was leaving on vacation leave, they said to me that it seems as if when I go on vacation, I go to 80 because work put on a weight for me. I say, yes. And when I was leaving the second time, I said, I'm going back to 80. And when I came back, I got another promotion. Who could it be but Jesus? God is faithful. I don't put nothing past God. But you may be down there going through your situation. I don't know what it is. Financial, trust God. Trust God. You need to marry. Trust God. Because God is faithful. He will provide. God will provide.
Yes, that's right.
Last about 2 weeks ago, I purchased gas and it was $10,140 to fill my tank. And I said, Jesus. But whilst I was going on TikTok watching something, I saw a gentleman that said, once upon a time, he couldn't full up in tank. I know that experience. Yeah. When me and Mr. Gayle drive and he turn the corner, his car shut off. Can the gas low? But God has been faithful. I can fill my tank, but God has been good. So if we should look back at where the Lord would have brought us from, we would realize that all the failure is in us. because God has been faithful. Potters, it is time to cross over, to possess the land, sorry, because we would have crossed over. And we need to possess the land, and we really don't want to possess the land with the things that the Lord told us not to have with us. So as we move forward, recognizing how faithful God is to us, recognizing how faithful God is to us, I'm going to be encouraging you today that you can join with the song, with the writer, that's Paul, that he said in Romans 8:38 and 39, that I am persuaded that nothing at all is going to be able to separate me from the love of God. Nothing, not even my children who I love so much, they're not going to prevent me. So I want to encourage you today that as we look and reminisce on the faithfulness of God, we are not faithful because based on the characteristics of a faithful person, we are lacking. We are lacking. But I just want to encourage you that because God is faithful to us, we need to hold the end of our bargain. We need to be faithful to Him. We can't faithful today and don't faithful tomorrow. We have to be consistent. Faithful people are consistent people. So God is faithful and we need to be faithful. So as I leave today, I just want to continue to encourage you that whatever you're going through, remember that God is faithful. It's only for a matter of time, you know. Weeping may endure for a night, but the joy is coming in the morning. So you don't really worry about it. Just go ahead and enjoy your valley situation. Because you're going to be coming out as fine gold. You're going to be coming out. When you get out of your valley situation, it will better prepare you for greater things. So when you're in the valley, don't worry. Just go ahead and enjoy it. Because you're coming out. God is too faithful to fail. God bless you in Jesus' name.